Okay, we are ready for part 3 of creating a Google site. In the last couple of sessions, we talked about the basics of creating a site, from inserting text boxes and images and documents, to the second session, in which we talked about adding multiple pages, subpages, and now we are going to talk about the following topics today. So in part 3, we're going to talk about once you've built your site, you've created all the pages that you want, added images and documents, and you're ready to publish, how to do that. We're going to talk about going back to edit it at a later time, because of course this is a constantly changing and evolving document in your website. So you may need to go back and edit it later, and how to do that. And then finally, how to connect your finished Google site to the eSide website. So the first thing I want to do is just remind you that if you are looking at your website from the back office view, you always start in Drive. And big reminder here, you could search for the name of your website. And of course, I'm using the nurse's office website as my example. So I could search for that, and everything related to nurse's office will appear. And here's my website. Again, try to remember that the symbol for Google Sites looks like a blue square with 2 squares and a rectangle inside it. Another thing you could do as well to narrow down is the drop-down menu here is the advanced search menu, and you could search by type. So I'm just going to drop down and select sites, search, and now nurse's office and sites, it goes straight to my Google site that I'm building right here. I'm going to double click on that. And again, you will know that you're in edit mode, not the publish mode that you'll see on the website itself, because you'll see all these tools or toolbox right here that we've talked about: insert, pages, and then of course your themes for changing your font and color style. So the first thing I want to do is talk about publishing. Okay. So what I'm going to do really quickly, just to demonstrate that, is go to my publish settings here. When you are just creating your site, it will say publish here, okay? And once you are ready, you'll click on this button. Google goes ahead and suggests a name for your site. So since the title of my site is Eastside Nurse's Office, the suggestion here is Eastside Nurse's Office. You could change that if you wanted to. Like, let's say, for example, I just want it to be EHS Nurse's Office. And you can change that last part to whatever you would like. You will get a little check mark here if that name has not already been used. But let's say, for example, let's just take a gamble here and do Mr. Smith, common last name. That's a great address, but as you can see, it's already been taken. Okay, so if you have a common last name, you may want to be creative in your title. So let's go back and name this EHS Nurses Office. Okay, and there we go. Okay, really important part right here. Who can view my site? Okay, we want to click on manage this, because right now the default is always going to go to anyone at Greenville County School District, which is great. That means any student, staff member, faculty member, anyone that's an employee of Greenville County Schools could see this website. But of course, you really don't want your parents to be blocked from viewing their website, because they really are the important people that you are communicating here via your Google site, especially those classroom teachers out there at Eastside. As you know, parents can get a summary of what is going on in your Google Classroom, but they are not allowed to actually be a member, a student of your Google Classroom. So really, for me, the big purpose of a Google site is to use that as a communication piece, a communication tool with parents, to give them a snapshot of what's going on in your classroom. Okay, so I'm going to click on manage, and you can see that there are some options here. You could share it with specific people, which again, you really don't want to do, or you can change it here. So we are going to change the links here. Okay, so the draft, you really don't need to change that unless you wanted to share somewhat with the draft version with maybe a co-teacher or someone like that. you certainly could do that. Really, though, the draft itself, for me, I only want myself to be able to see that edit view. Now, this is the important part, publish site. I'm going to drop down, and my options here are restricted, which means only I can view it or people that I specifically send the link to, Greenville County School District, or public. You want to make your website public, okay? Now, that being said, remember we talked in the last session about creating that folder for your website that you make public. Remember, anything that you add to that website from this point on can be viewed by anyone out there in website land, in internet land. So obviously, anything that you put on your website, you want to make sure that it is appropriate and ready to go for the public to view, because anyone who has access to the internet and comes upon your website will be able to view it. Okay, once you click done now, we can see we're ready to publish. I have my web address, the name. Again, every single person in Greenville County starts with sites.google.com/greenvilleschools.us. After that next / is what makes your website unique, in this case, the EHS nurse's office. Who can view my site? Again, I manage that, and I have made it public. And again, if you want to double check that, all you do is just click on it and click on links, and that's where I've changed it to public. Okay. Request public search engines to not display my site. If you want to choose that, you can. But for me, I want, if a parent is searching for Eastside Nurse's Office, I want them to be able to find it. So once you click publish, let's see what happens. Okay. It thinks for just a moment. And now, if you noticed before, it was just this blue publish button without a drop down caret. And now there's this little drop down menu here. So if you click on that, you have some options. You can review your published settings. You can review your changes and publish it. So this is if you have been making changes along the way, okay? You can view the you can view the published site, or you can unpublish it. So if you, for some reason, are working on a site and you decide you want to unpublish it for a while, you do have that option. But this is the third option, is what I want to draw your attention to, view the published site. Once I click on that, I actually see what my website looks like live on the internet. Okay, so I can see there's my landing page. Here's my medical forms page with my sub menu or sub page here about more information about medications, procedures for parents, and then a link to the Eastside High website, which we did in previous sessions. Okay, big important thing here. We have looked at our page, we've published it, we've changed it to a public website and click that publish button. The second thing that I want to draw your attention to is, I'm actually going to change this order. And let's talk about this right now. Let's go ahead because it's a perfect time. Now you are ready. You want to connect your website to the Eastside website. So very easy thing to do. You are going to send an email to me. My email is emolin@greenville.k12.sc.us. Okay, so you can jot that down. emolin@greenville.k12.sc.us. You will send me an email when you're ready to connect to the EHS website. I'll get that connected for you. And all you need to do is send me the link to your published site. So again, clicking this little arrow, view published site. Once you do that, you will grab this URL right here, okay? Copy it. It's got to be that published site, not the back office view, but the actual published site. Copy this and put this in an email to me. And you can just add a subject such as, Google site ready to go to the Eastside website, and I will get that connected. Okay. All right. So, side note, if you have an older website that you are working on and updating from last year or years ago, and I already have it connected, all you have to do is publish to make those changes show up on the Eastside website. You do not need to send me your URL unless it is a brand new Google site that you have created from scratch that has never been connected to the eSide website. If you've already had yours connected and you just want to go back and edit it for this year, change some dates, change your schedule, change things to 2020, 2021, you can certainly do that. So let's talk about that really quickly. So that is our third piece for today, which is editing at a later time. Okay. So let's say that I have published that nurse's website and now I'm coming back in. Again, if I'm in my drive, you can search for it. You can drop down and search just by Google site, but you can see right here, it's popped up right here in my quick access, the nurse's office. Okay. So let's say that I add something new. I'm editing my site and I want to add something new. So right here, I'm going to add a text box and I'm going to add some new information. Okay, I added some new information here in this section. And maybe I add a picture, maybe I add some documents. But just because I've added this in the edit view doesn't mean that it will now show up on the website. You have one less thing. So while other things like Google Docs and Google Slides, you never have to quote unquote save them, with Google Sites, unless you click publish, it will not show up live as your live website. Okay. So what I'm going to do here, very easy, I'm going to click publish. For those of you who used Google Sites last year, but maybe haven't used it in a while, this is a new thing that they've added. They give you a preview. So they're going to show you your current draft with that new information added and what is currently published without the new information added. Okay, just so you can go through and check and make sure that you like how everything looks, the draft versus what's currently published. They also have this sidebar that tells you exactly what it is that you updated, and you updated your home page for right now. Okay, so I check out everything. Looks great. I am ready for the school year, ready to publish. Once you click publish, you are good to go. And you could even go to the eSide website, refresh the page, and see where you're connected. For example, if you are Mr. Branham, for example, and you just added something to your astronomy or chemistry site, he could simply go to his site there and make sure that whatever it is he added has now showed up now that he clicked publish. Again, if you already have it open, I would suggest that you refresh your tab before you check that. But just simply clicking that publish button is what anything that you change on your website, whether it's on the home page or any of these other pages, you have to click publish in order for that to update on the live website itself. Okay, so hopefully that answered all of your questions about these three topics: publishing, how you connect to the EHS website. Again, that's by emailing me, emolin@greenville.k12.etsy.us, and how to go back and edit it later. If you're one of the teachers that already have a website connected to our EHS homepage, you will just need to go back into your drive, find that website, do whatever editing and changing you need to do for the school year, and make sure you click publish, not once, but twice after you've checked your draft versus the currently published version. My email address if you have any questions. Thank you so much.